Hi everybody, my name is Laura Kane, and I have had a lot of requests from clients to explain how our brains are kind of set up. Because when we're working with mindfulness and we're working with utilizing mindfulness to help with emotions and emotional reactions, I do think it's helpful for us to understand some of the anatomy of the brain. So I had been talking a little bit about kind of left and right brains, which we will do more of. But today I wanted to share with you a really easy visual that I think really helps us understand the anatomy of the brain. And this was created by Dan Siegel. And so the idea is we kind of take our hand and we tuck our thumb across our palm, and then you bring your fingers over top of it. And so initially, this is the brain stem. This is the spinal column. So this is the spinal column coming in, and then through like the skull is around here. And then in here we've got the brain stem, which is pretty much the part of our brain that is the very reptilian part. It regulates arousal, it regulates our autonomic functions like heart beating, like blood pressure, like breathing, respiration. And then if you continue up, so this is the lower part of the brain, if you continue up, we get to this part, our little thumb, which is really the middle brain, or the limbic system. And the limbic system is really in charge of emotional regulation and scanning for danger, so fight or flight. So the amygdala, is part of this middle brain. The amygdala is kind of this little teeny almond-shaped organ in our brain that is constantly kind of scanning the environment, letting us know if we're safe or if we're not safe. And then what we wrap over top of that is the cerebral cortex. So this is the part of the brain that gives us things like executive function, the ability to understand abstractions such as love or money. The beautiful thing about the cerebral cortex is as well, when information's coming in and it comes through the spinal column, through the brainstem, through the limbic system, it all gets integrated basically in this frontal cortex, because we're thinking, this is like two. So you have a limbic system on your left and a limbic system on your right. So right here in front is really the frontal cortex and the prefrontal cortex, which are really crucial for us to be integrating all the information that's coming in. And so unfortunately, trauma can cut off the communication between the limbic system and the frontal cortex. And so oftentimes stimulus will be coming in and it will be very arousing and then it can be very emotional, and we can flip our lid. And so basically we lose the connection to the frontal cortex, and then we all kind of know where we're going to go with that, right? So you have a panic attack or an angry outburst, or you flee. And so mindfulness and meditation can help you create a larger bandwidth, or like a larger ability. It's like padding how reactive the middle brain can be when that information is coming up. So it kind of creates, I tell people, it's like people who struggle with anger, mindfulness helps create a little more space between interpretation of the stimulus and then the response. Because a large part of the problem, anxiety too, the stimulus happens and then the body's already responding in anger or in anxiety before it is even processed by what's going on. And at that point, it's flip the lid, you have no access to, you have no access to up here anymore. You just have to wait. I always say, like an angry outburst or an anxiety attack, it's like trying to calm down a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old in a temper tantrum, you just have to kind of wait that out. But I hope that's helpful. Stay tuned for more brain information, and I do have some classes coming up in the fall. Unfortunately, they're not on my website yet, but keep checking or touch base with us. I've got an anxiety support group coming up. I've got an Enneagram class coming up and an in-person breath class in September, which I think is going to be really great. The Enneagram class is at the end of October, maybe beginning of November. So I hope you have a wonderful day. And until then, be well. Thank you.